Yo, what's up, baby? This is Bert Watson, and you're listening to Radio MMA, because this is what they do and why they do it, baby, all night long, because they rolling hard, fast, and on the money.
Okay, guys, let's bring in Stripper Ramsey. How's it going, man?
Good, how are you guys?
We're doing good. So, why the long layoff between your fights?
Well, actually, last fight, I ended up blowing out my elbow in the fight.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to have surgery, and it was a long recovery, man. It was a pretty serious surgery, you know, and I had Tommy John's, and it's been a long road back, and so I'm finally healthy and able to fight again.
Oh, shit, man, that's pretty crazy. Just talk about the late change in opponents and how that'll affect you this weekend.
Man, it shouldn't affect me too much. You know, I still do the same shit. I'm going to go out and try to fight them and try to beat someone up and probably make an exciting fight in one way or another like I normally do. And, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll change up the approach a little bit. But to be honest, really, you know, I always focus on myself and being the best me. And so to change up on an opponent, you know, I'm grateful that someone stepped up, you know. For a minute there, they couldn't find anyone to fight me. It's funny, all these guys always talk about, you know, you see all these articles of people calling me out, but when it came time to step up, no one was willing.
What does he bring to the table?
I mean, he brings a high pedigree of wrestling, you know, and he's 10-0, all first round finishes, their first and second round, and so he definitely does bring that level of wrestling and stuff, but, you know, I'm a pretty good wrestler myself, so I'm going to go in there and prove that. You know, I've been wrestling, I would say, probably longer, just as long, and I've proven that I'm more of a martial artist than him, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these fighters that can wrestle really well, a lot of them can't strike like me, you know, or a lot of them can't, you know, don't have as much knowledge of the sport as I do and haven't been fighting at a high level like I have.
Who will you have in your corner for this fight this weekend?
Tariq Azim, my little brother Adam Midjam, and Alex from Diamond Cup. He's my wrestling coach, and so just the same people. You know, the same people I've had, and you know, they've been there for since you know the whole recovery process, and they've been around for a little while and been helping me, you know, get healthy and stuff. So you know, I try to keep it simple, and you know, it's the end of the day, man. It's not really about who's in the corner. You know, it's you know, they're there to help me prepare, and you know, I'll go out and fight, and you know, they've already done all their work, and kind of just being in the corner is just their last way, I think, to support me and show the support.
When you have a big fight coming up, do you usually watch video on people's previous fights?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
If I find some, you know, it depends. Dude, let's talk about something more interesting, dude. Come on, you know, we all know. I'm gonna go out there and try to win a fight, man. Ask me something. Let's go down a different line. I feel like I bring a little bit more of a variety than most of these other fighters. So, you know, what am I don't feel like I'm gonna bring anything exciting talking about this. Yeah, I'm gonna go out and try to kick this guy's ass just like every fight. But, you know, I don't know, what else should we talk about? Something more exciting than fighting, right?
Okay, let's step it up a notch then, man. A few weeks ago in Bellator, we had Ken Shamrock versus Kimbo Slice, and a lot of people were claiming that the fix was in. A week ago, we had UFC 189, and when Mendez went down, people were saying the fix was in again. What do you think? In 2015, do fighters fix fights?
I don't know, man. I've never been a part of it. I've never heard of anything like that. And so it's hard for me to say. Like, I've never talked to anyone telling me that they fixed a fight and, you know, or went down on purpose. And I have a hard time, you know, seeing fighters willing to go lose. You know, it's one thing like, I mean, if you're going to fix a fight, fix it like a submission, you know, with the Chad Mendes thing, not a TKO. Right? That would be like the worst way to fix it, I think. I'd all right, catch me in a guillotine or something like that if I was going to go and fix it. So that's why I have a hard time saying that. But then again, man, you see a lot of things, you know, crazy things happen in the sports world. You know, fixing has gone on for a long time in the sports world. So, I mean, I don't know. And I've never heard of anything, but, you know, I mean, how many times have we seen basketball games get fixed before and people get arrested for that, and baseball games? And so, I mean, it goes on in the sports world because it's all about the money at the end of the day. So I don't know. I've never heard of it. I don't think so, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was, fixed fights going on, and sometimes maybe. But I have a hard time seeing that whole Chad Mendez and Connor, one being fixed, just because it's, Chad went out and took him down and did a great job, but I mean, he wasn't training for that fight. He took it on 2 weeks, and so it's tiring, man. It's a tiring thing to take someone down 3 or 4 times is exhausting for a fight, and it's not easy. It's not something you can just show up and do, 2 weeks out and think that you're going to be in shape for it.
Yeah, but how does Ken Shamrock not know how to finish a fight? Rear naked choke.
Yeah, that one, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. I didn't really watch the fight, but I heard a lot about it, and I saw the finish, and I saw what everybody's talking about, and yeah, I don't know, man. That one's kind of crazy. There's money to be made, and so, I mean, I can see it. It shows that just like in all sports, man, there's not enough. If someone's willing to fix something, that shows that they're not making enough money in the sport anyway.
Usually the UFC talks about these Vegas odds during some of their fights. Do you ever check out the odds before your fight to see if you're favored in Vegas?
Yeah, I'll check. And well, I don't know if I really check, but I definitely get tweeted about it at a time, so I definitely check.
Sure.
Whether or not I want to or not, someone will tweet me the odds, and so that's usually how I find out. And it's a tough thing, dude. The odds are fighting odds is not really like an easy task, I would say. So that's why it's crazy to me when there's these huge favorites, because anybody can go in and beat anybody, And I mean, look at Anderson Silva, was the huge favorite every time and ends up losing to Chris Weidman, and so. Odds are a crazy thing, and it's a gamble, man, and that's why I think a lot of people enjoy the sport, because it really is like a really roulette gamble sometimes. There's never a for sure. I mean, Dos Anjos and Pettis, that was a big underdog win too, and there's just a lot of underdogs that always win in the sport. It's different in other sports, like when you have 7 games or a 7-game series or whatever. It's different, but when there's a one punch and one split second can change a fight like that, I think the odds are really kind of a crazy thing in the sport.
Okay, man, a few years ago, Brock Lesnar did not want Steve Mazzagatti reffing his fights. Is there a referee out there that you say, no way?
I don't think specifically. I don't blame people, because there are some refs that stop them earlier than others. And then I feel like I've had some early stoppages, where I felt fine and I was still fighting. And, I mean, it's tough to say, man. The ref is just as, he's just a human too, The air is very, very, it's a very, very easy air for these guys to make, Like, they think someone, because they want to go in and protect, and then it's like a thin line. If you let someone fight too long, then people are like, what the fuck's wrong with that ref? They let the fight go on way too long.
Sure.
Or, or if they, if they stop it too early, then the person's pissed. But, if I was a ref, I definitely probably would be stopping fights earlier than later. Because I wouldn't want that blood on my hands, you know what I mean? Like, I can understand why they would stop a fight earlier than later, because too long, I think it's worse than a little too early, probably.
Final question here. I was asking you earlier about fighters fixing fights. What about referees? Do you think it's probably easier for them to do it?
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be a lot easier for a ref to fix it, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, that's the usual suspects in most of the fixing, right?
Yeah.
Anytime there's been a huge fixing thing, it's always been, ref. I believe, basketball is probably one of the most fixed sports around, and it's always comes down to the refs.
Yeah, for sure.
Basketball's crazy, man. It's a crazy thing, and it gets fixed, I think, and it's been shown that it's been fixed a lot, and that one's an easy one to fix, because, you go to the best player and you just tell them to miss a couple more shots, you know, or you go to the refs and they make a couple, you know, different calls. And so I think it's easier to fix a team sport than a fight, because, but I mean, there has been fixed fights. I mean, we've seen like fights in fixed where people were supposed to lose and they go in and they win, and I forget what his name was. It was like it was an old Russian fight, and he gets like he knocks the dude out and like pulls him on top of him. And I mean, back in like the 90s, I think. Nice. I forget what it was called, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm not sure what fight it is, but we've seen plenty. There was plenty in Pride too.
Yeah. So you've seen it, you know, seen it happen, and I hope to say I would never be part of something like that. You know, I have too much integrity, and you know, a payday is only worth so much. But then look at the fighters, you know, that aren't making a lot of money. How easy do you think it would be to go up to a fighter that's not making a lot of money and say, "Hey, I'll give you 3 times or 10 times what you're making."
Right.
You know, like that would be like, that's not a lot of money to fix a fight.
Right.
Or it takes a lot, like a whole baseball team, you know what I mean, or a whole football team or whatever.
Okay, man, give me a prediction on your fight. How will it finish?
I think a TKO, either in the end of the first or middle of the second. You know, I feel strong, man. I'm really strong right now for my weight, and I feel good, man. I've been out for a long time. I'm excited to fight again. You know, it's sometimes you get drawn out in this fighting game, and it's very frustrating. But I'm actually like super excited to step back into the ring and fight. And you know, it's my first passion, my love, man. I love doing this, and sometimes you forget that from the monotony of, you know, training, fighting, and you know, sometimes it doesn't go your way, sometimes it does go your way, and it's, you know, it's a hard lifestyle sometimes, but it's not about that, man. It's about the, you know, each day and living the life as a martial artist, and I'm loving it, and I'm thankful every time now that I get to step in the ring, and every time I get to train. My last fight could have easily been my last fight. You know, it was a really serious injury that I could have never came back from. And so now I get to go out and show myself, you know, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be stronger, better. You know, I feel like I'm a better man. I found my first gray hair for the first time, you know. Nice. So, you know, I think I'm starting to finally become a man, you know, and I've been fighting in this organization for 22 years. Oh, since I was 22, not 22 years.
Right.
So it's, I really had to grow up, and I've really had to learn a lot in this sport. You know, everybody knows me as Stripper Ramsey from my, you know, younger days, and you know, looking back now, I'd probably never do that same, you know, do the show the same way, and I'd be a lot different because I'm a lot older and more mature. But you know, it's something I got to showcase to MMA fans of, you know, my growth, and I feel like this is another opportunity for me to go out and show my growth not only as a fighter but as a human being as well.
Thanks for taking the time out. Want to promote any social media?
Yeah, you guys follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's all just Ramsey Nijem. That's the beauty of having a name like that. It's easy to obtain. There's not very many.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my emails are really easy. They're just my name, and so it's pretty easy to get. So that's always good. And you know, follow me on there. And you know, I like to thank everybody that supported me. You know, I have a lot of fans that have supported me through this, and it's been a hard, long process. And you hear a lot of fighters and a lot of people talking about, you know, taking a serious injury and the road back and how it's the hardest thing they've done and this and that. You know, and you never really believe until you're in that situation, and you really have to make a decision if this is what you want to do or not. And so I'm thankful for the opportunity to fight, man.
Good stuff. Thanks for doing this, man.
Anytime, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks for mixing it up with me, man. I didn't feel like talking about the same stuff. I like mixing it up. I appreciate it.
Good stuff. Thanks for doing it. See you later.
Anytime, man.